Very excited to have the guys back on the show. We should let's at least bring in Quaison. And it looks like Chris is still getting settled.
Quaison,
yo. A few things, because I'm just like sitting here in the backstage, just like, one, how the hell did my stuff get corrupted? I was like spitting sermon, like high level stuff going on in that. Yes. And I don't know what's going on. It was like that was for the gods, and it's gone.
It's true.
It's true. It's so StreamYard. We can we can file our lawsuit with StreamYard. But yeah, I don't know what happened with that one. We downloaded it and we were like, all right, because we have all our stuff archived, right?
Yeah.
And that one, it was all pixels and it's totally unusable. You know what I mean? So, but that's why I'm so stoked that you're back here. Second, give me the second.
But second, that transition you did from the DEX to your chair was so smooth and so clean. I was just like, wait a minute, was that pre-recorded? How did that happen? Like, that was so clean and so like high level like video editing that I was just like, okay, these guys are on their game. And third, an espresso will either change and or ruin your life at the same time, right? Like
yes, exactly.
I have one of those and it's killed my morning routine. It's like in the best way possible because it's just press that button. Did you get a milk frother yet?
Yes, no.
Wait, say it again. I didn't hear you.
Milk frother? Did you get it?
Oh no, I haven't gotten the milk frother yet. No.
Level your game up, man. You gotta get everything. You gotta get the full set. Otherwise, you're not really having the experience.
Yeah, you're right. I'm kind of slacking right now.
Quaison knows. So I originally did an espresso, and at one point I bought something from Keurig. I think that's how you read that brand. They had a fully automated milk and espresso combined. If you wanted to do cappuccino, whatever system, you would press one button, you would hear it go through its stages, and then it would spit out the thing, and I would drink it. At one point, the machine broke because I was like overusing it, but definitely get the milk apparatus. It will level up your life. So
yeah, I like what the chat is saying because I didn't want to be too disrespectful, but like espresso, the Keurigs are like B tier. The Nespresso is
but the problem with Nespresso is you have to use their stuff, right? Keurigs, you can use whatever coffee you want. That was the big difference. And if you yeah, I mean that was the big edge.
That's the difference between an iPhone person and an Android person. And I know I get irritated with green bubbles, so I just leave it there.
Well, it looks like COO Tim Shan is saying Nespresso is better. You have to go European. If you're just joining us, this is now a coffee stream.
It's a coffee talk.
We're doing
it's coffee for now. It's going to be
Lost Worlds.
Cars and coffee eventually. We're going to talk about cars, I'm sure, eventually, right?
Yep. We're really glad you can join us for a new coffee Twitch stream. Everybody's here, so it's great. Anyways, speaking of everybody being here, it looks like we may have Chris. Is he here?
I'm on.
Are you there?
Chris,
welcome. Technical difficulties, but I'm on. My camera, for whatever reason, isn't syncing with StreamYard.
Oh, bummer.
I think he's wearing a tie-dye shirt right now, so like you guys are missing like
damn
the best right now.
We'll see. I might be able to figure it out mid-call, flying the plane while
it's building. Pretty funny because the first just thinking about our old episodes, the first 2 episodes we had major technical glitches, unexpected stuff, and we had rehearsals, we had like attempts to do a lot of things. And it took a couple tries to get the vibe going. Midway through, the microphone broke on Jimmy's side and stuff. At this point, knock on wood, we're less glitchy, let's say. But yeah,
we're talking about baby pictures here. You got Quaison and Chris got to see our in the Clob's baby pictures basically when we were still developing the stream. Lighting wasn't really correct. Sound was probably
the production value. The production value.
That's true. You made the content good while everything else was trying to bring you down. So it's absolutely true.
We got to find a way to get everybody has to level up. I love it.
Yeah, great to have you guys. I know it's been a while. Lots has changed. I think when we talked first, it was either the top or the near the top of the bowl. I think you guys had launched or about to launch, and it was a different world. How have you guys been since then?
Oh man, I think this is like post World War I for us, right?
Yeah.
And
37 years ago
Yeah.
was when we first met, naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Chris probably has to figure out his camera. Yeah, so I mean, I think it was like right before we launched, I believe, like before we hit Avalanche Summit, or it was right after. I can't
Exactly.
remember.
It was right before. It was right before, I think.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that was going into literally the top of the market. And, we were not forcing ourselves, we were building a product. We know exactly what we wanted to build, and we were trying to make sure we built something that people can play with for Avalanche Summit, because we knew it was the best time, the opportune time for people to experience this idea of location-based NFTs, right? What better place, since we're on the Avalanche blockchain, what better place than to roll it out at Avalanche Summit? And then from there, what can we do to make sure people understand, like, hey, this is just the beginning? So we launched it, and then, like any true tried and true startup, we found out all the things that were wrong, all the things that needed to be fixed. And the bear market provided us a little bit of cover, because everybody got hit really, 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 really hard. So we just went heads down, and we just said, okay, we're builders first. We weren't in this to we're not in this for the scam token, for the pump and dump. We're actually trying to build something here. So we just put our heads down and started rebuilding and rethinking everything. And we're rolling out. It's literally a year later, like almost to the day, if I'm not mistaken. And we're rolling out V2 of Lost Worlds, a new foundation, a new build with lots of new partnerships, announcements, features, and usability that just really fulfill on the mission that we originally had set out. And so we're really happy and excited about that one.
Super excited about this. The
Hey guys,
V2.
can we take a step back really quick, Firestorm?
Sure, of course. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. For any new folks that might be joining us, Quaison, can you give us like a breakdown of like what Lost Worlds actually is, like for our new viewers?
Yeah, for sure. So for anybody who's never heard of us, right? So we're Lost Worlds. You go to lostworlds.io. We are a mobile web-based app, right? So you don't have to download anything. You don't have to give blood to anybody. We're a mobile web-based app that can geographically bound NFTs to physical locations, right? So what we're able to do is we're able to take I give many different examples. Like if you're a physical muralist or something like that, and you have a statue somewhere and you sold it to a museum, but you want to make a little extra money on the side, put an NFT on there, right? But make sure that the people have to go and see it and experience that NFT, right? That's from the artist side. But you also have this ability. Think about retail activations. Think about Pokemon Go. I think at Avalanche Summit, that was like the best experience, right? We could probably share some video of at Avalanche Summit. You see dudes just walking around like this.
I remember the craziness. Yeah, I remember that people were running around, and every time I got to the location, stuff was sold out. I was kind of like mad. Like it was a little too exclusive. Quaison, just a tiny bit of feedback. But anyways.
It minted out, and like, first of all, we had like a bunch of technical delays, so we were behind with that launch for like a couple of hours. And then, but before we even knew we fixed the technical issues, half of the NFTs had minted out, because people were just waiting there, like running around to the different locations, trying to catch, chicken NFTs or appas at the
continents.
Time,
I think like there was a bunch of other things.
Yeah,
before actually.
Later. Yeah.
Or sorry, later.
The Trader Joe hats, right? Like, the Colony booth. They were just kind of running around, trying to like mint those NFTs. So it was like a good kind of proof of use, right? But yeah, so that's pretty much what we do. We create location-based NFTs as a foundation layer for artists, projects, and creators to use location as a form of scarcity with digital assets and digital collectibles. The application and implications of this are just like, if you take 2 seconds to think about it, are actually really broad. We can get into some of that alpha here a little bit later, but there's look at what Starbucks is doing with their Odyssey program, right? They look at some of these other big name, Web2 companies that are trying to bridge NFTs to the real world. This is a real functional use case of bridging NFTs to the real world.
So I honestly think the most underrated, but it should actually be talked about, feature that you guys have is the geo NFT concept, right? So there's a lot. So anybody that's involved in crypto Twitter knows, right? You have a group that hate NFTs, then you have a group that love NFTs and don't want to touch anything other than NFTs. But then the real world, the majority of the world, actually end up somewhere in the middle. They're curious about NFTs. They don't know what it is. They don't know how it works. They don't know why they need to be involved, right? Can you give us a little bit of why NFTs are cool? And most importantly, the way I contextualize it is geo NFTs make perfect sense. It's always the question about utility. Geo NFTs give me that utility. And we would love to hear that vision from you guys a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely want to hear what you think they are as well, and just kind of go into that because, you know, as the builder, right, I have my own mission and my own idea and my own like kind of like this is what it should be, but things are what they become based off of how people kind of use and engage them, right? So for me, the idea of geo NFTs, location-based NFTs, geographically bounded digital assets is literally just an evolution of NFTs as themselves, right? So we understand NFTs to be immutable, they're provably scarce, right? You have the idea of provenance within an NFT, right? A chain of ownership that's within them. And on top of that, there's this concept of non-fungibility, which is within the name, but then there's also this concept of scarcity, right? And that's usually the gamified part of it, where people say you could have 1 million NFTs, but you could also have NFTs that are, you know, rare boys, right? You know, 8,000 PFP collection for something like that. But what we're doing is we're creating a new form of scarcity. And I was hinting at it in the last thing that I was talking about. And that form of scarcity is physical location, right? You have to be there. You know, examples that I use all the time is if you think about a concert, you know, you're playing. I meant to say that like there was it's a hard tune there you were playing right there, right? My thing right now that I'm into Afro house right now, and there's like a few like big artists, Zix Batwani, Da Capo, like these are like artists and I want to go there. Right. And if you know, when you go to like these big concerts and events, you know what a pride, like a thing that you show, it's the merch. Right? Oh, yo, I have this t-shirt, right? I have this hat, and somebody can see you and be like, oh, he was there. He was at the moment. He was there at that moment doing that thing. Yeah. It inspires a form of community if you really think about it, right? Because it says that
sense of belonging, ownership, right?
Sense of belonging, ownership. You were here at this time. If you think about nationality, if I see somebody, I'm Jamaican, if I see somebody, you know, with speaking in my dialect or with a Jamaican flag, there's like a level of like, yo, I need to go talk to him or her. You know what I mean? Like I have to engage with him. Those are my people. Like I have to go. And so the real killer applications of NFT so far, right, as we've seen them, has really not been the tech itself. It's been the community built on top of the tech. Right? Absolutely. So Geo NFTs is giving us an opportunity to create a different type of community, a new form of community that's bounded around location. When somebody looks in somebody's wallet and says, oh, you were there? Yo, do you remember this, right? You use those NFTs as access in Discord to specific private channels, and everybody gets to just reminisce and kind of build together and talk about their experiences together. That's kind of that's my idea. That's my mission, right? Within that. But again, because of the fact that it's just sitting on top of the technology, there's really no, like, it's not really up to me. It's whether people understand that and gravitate to it. That's why I leave it kind of more open-ended. Like other people might have other ideas of how this could be used.
Yeah. I mean, you literally said things that I've been thinking in a much better way. The way I've recently been contextualizing is over the weekend, we had my football team play some unimportant football team. We crushed them 4-2, and it happened at their home field. And if I had some bad team, like you don't even need to mention or think about them. You know, my team is Beşiktaş, right? And like, if I could, like, you know, solidify that moment, if I could like make it like if I could enshrine a piece of
Yes,
that time,
on the
that
blockchain,
memory, it would have been
at the
amazing. Like,
location.
and more importantly, like I see him in the chat. My friend, my partner, Tiger Maxus supports this other unimportant team. Like, I don't understand why, but I would love to gift this type of an NFT to him to make sure it forever burns in his memory as that date as well.
Was this you guys playing, or is this like Fenerbahce or something like playing?
So this was so Beşiktaş is my team.
Okay, Beşiktaş.
Beşiktaş played Fenerbahce. As I said, Fenerbahce is not necessarily a team that we care about. We obviously beat them in their own home field. This happened 10-20 years ago, where we put a midfielder at the goal post because our goalie got a red card, and we beat them in a similar manner. And again, if I could only mint that as an NFT and store it forever, this is what resonates with me, right? Being there, being part of that unique group of people who were in the field and whatnot. So I mean, it makes perfect sense.
Amazing. Like, we're brainstorming now. We're just having fun with this. Like, what if like all the prime rivalries, like El Clasico, right, the London Derby, where the drop, the mint itself, like how championship game, like they roll out the hats of the winners, but the loser has a hat too that has to get thrown out, and he just wasted like $100,000 in merch. But like, if we dropped only, like, depending on who won, we dropped that NFT that says they won and you were
boom,
right?
Absolutely.
That's actually really fun.
A lot easier to change than the physical hat.
And it's geo, right? Like, jokes aside, again, my friend that I'm thinking of, he wants to go to a Champions League match in Europe, right? It's not necessarily a multiple time happening event for you. Having that memorabilia that you can carry anywhere with you. A shirt you can only wear once or twice. An NFT you can always carry, and you could make it your background, or you could show it at a given moment to prove that your team is better than the others, right? Like, these are important things that we gotta have in our back pocket. But anyways, I'll stop there. I think
if you want to send your friend an NFT of the time his team got washed out,
what's funny is that I'm a Fenerbahce fan. Like, that's the only team.
You are?
That's the only team that I knew would make it out of the Champions League in my era, right? No, who else used to make it out in my era? I was the Arsenal 2000-2001 era, Thierry Henry, Pires, Bergkamp, like all those guys. So like, I just remember the teams that came out of Turkey for those.
Yeah. Anyways, like, as a fellow Turkish person with original Turkish roots, football is exactly where I go when I think about utility and geolocation specifically, and makes perfect sense. But anyways, going back to Lost Worlds, now that we covered which team is a better team, can you tell us a little bit about the V2, right? Can you tell us what you guys have built throughout this year? First of all, I want to applaud you guys also. Bear market happened. You guys are still here. You guys are coming out with a banger release. Not everybody can say this. Only a few projects are still around. And tell us a little bit, what else is coming? Give us some alpha.
Chris, you wanna? I don't know if you're.
Chris, is your mic working, Chris?
Yeah, I'm on. I've just been listening. I'm
Welcome.
loving what I'm hearing so far.
Hey, it's good to have you back, man.
Yeah, good to be back.
I'm super sad I can't see your shirt right now.
I know. We're bummed.
It's pretty good.
We wanted to see the shirt.
It works on Zoom. It works on Google Meets. Works on Huddle for anyone.
You have to give it permissions in your. Look at the camera icon in the
top left,
the browser. Then just give it permissions up there.
Maybe that's it. Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh. Never mind.
All right. Back to you, my friend. So you got to tell us about the V2.
All right. And so just to kind of give everybody context. So Chris is actually the head of product. He's the one who is kind of who's championed the build of this product. He sits between the business development team. He sits between the engineering teams. He also does like a significant amount of the product designs them well. So like he is the engine and the grease of things. That's why it was like it's probably best and appropriate for him to like really talk about his baby in that sense. But I can jump. Oh no, he's back. Chris, you want to jump in?
Yeah, so just all the cool stuff for V2. I definitely can talk at length about it. So pretty exciting stuff. One of the big takeaways when we went to the Avalanche Summit was this idea that people were really into location-based or geo NFTs. But that was such a microcosm because everybody there had AVAX in their wallet. Everybody there was super into these types of projects, and because of that, it worked really well. On the macrocosm, like the idea was if we wanted to replicate the success, we would have to build the certain set of tools to allow for our application to be used at scale. So one of the things that we first went about implementing is email wallet creation and credit card checkout, or you can pay with Apple Pay, Google Pay, your credit card. And that's a really nice entrance into Web 2, and really giving them sort of some onboarding tools and making it a lot more frictionless for them to experience the types of activations that we're creating. Yeah, so that was probably the first big implementation that we made. These wallets are also non-custodial, so even though we are abstracting a lot of the process, the end user is the one who owns their private keys. So that was important to us, is trying to figure out a way to almost pander to the Web 2 community while also keeping the Web 3 ethos. So that was sort of the first big thing we did. The second thing we focused on was a lot around branding, in-app specifically. So giving both creators and collectors an opportunity to express themselves within the application. So that's really banners, profile pictures, social connect feature to basically like authenticate your social media. We have the profiles, which are now shareable. We built a lot of like in-app sharing features. So when you mint something, or if you see a project you like, or if you want to show off your profile, you can kind of share those directly to Facebook or to Twitter. So lots of like viral loops kind of built in. The other like major upgrade that sometimes I forget because I look at it every day is that we rebranded the entire application. If you saw what the app looked like at Avalanche Summit versus what the app looks like now, I mean, everything's changed, like the color palette, just like the little nuances. Our logo is different. Everything about like the look and feel of the application has really kind of like leveled up as we've matured as a company. What else?
It's faster.
So I mean, I obviously looked at this before, much faster, but most importantly, or I'm not going to say most importantly, but one of the key things I noticed is that you're now also going cross-chain as well. Obviously, we're an Avalanche project originally, but with our subnet implementation, we actually have sort of a goal of accessing the Web3 whole world as a whole and bringing our value to everybody, because we're now a chain of our own. I see that you guys also are launching with Polygon, right? I think that announcement went live yesterday. Congratulations.
Yeah, exactly.
Glad to see that. I think, it's important for us to emphasize, right? It's ultimately going to be a multi-chain world. So who are the people on the Polygon side that you're bringing onto your platform? Is that something you can share, or?
We could share a little bit. That's going to be some of the bigger announcements that are coming. We actually already kind of like announced one earlier today, and it was a big one, right?
Because I saw the redacted. You said you promised a few will be announced, so I got to hear this, man.
Here, put it this way: there was a sneaker in the redacted, right? There was a sneaker emoji next to the redacted. So what we ended up announcing was a partnership and collaboration with Steppen. So everybody knows Steppen, one of the biggest kind of NFT projects that are out there. I think they have like 500,000 followers on Twitter. They have their Steppen ambassadors. They have a super active community that really is, actually active and understands intuitively our product and offering, right? Because these are people who get out and go and interact with NFTs in the real world, or use NFTs for real world activation, right? So right. It was a perfect partnership, a perfect collaboration. Haven't really shared too much about the details of it because it actually comes with another partnership. The only hint that I will give you guys, it's probably the biggest and loudest, not biggest, I would say one of the loudest, most popular at this moment NFT projects within our space. Right, they are
Only there's like 3 or 4 names, maybe.
There's only 3 or 4 names, right? So there's, and we're going to be doing a partnership with them. That announcement will be coming out really, really soon. We're also going to be doing stuff at NFT NYC. That's going to be like a really big announcement because it'll be just a ton of different projects, a ton of different artists, a ton of different events and side events that'll be happening, as well as bringing in some of our tried and true friends in the Avalanche ecosystem. Chicken is just like, they love us. They're like, yo, we get the vision. And I want to have eggs everywhere, right? I want people traveling to collect eggs and bring some of those kind of resources, those chicken resources back, back to the chicken farm. You know what I mean? So yeah, when it comes to working with Polygon, or moving, expanding to Polygon, I should say, it felt like a no-brainer for us. Because we're also chain agnostic. We love Avalanche, right? Avalanche is always our home chain. But kind of some of the opportunity with some of the projects that are out there, it actually brings visibility to the Avalanche ecosystem, but also expanding into the Polygon ecosystem kind of gives us a little bit of
absolutely
awareness. Also, just so you guys know, this announcement hasn't kind of rolled out yet. It'll roll out tomorrow. So we actually are going to more alpha. We actually are going to be rolling out on ETH as well. And ETH is going to be a little special in terms of how we roll that out, because that will be, if you think about NFTs on chain, because of how these different chains are structured technologically, they tend to have different forms of community. They tend to have different forms of ways that those communities interact with the chain. So if you think about the Ethereum chain, you'll notice that it's a lot more fine artists. It's a lot more higher ticket artists. It's a lot more artists that have really, probably more OG artists that have established themselves within the Ethereum NFT ecosystem. So, we didn't want to launch our platform on the Ethereum blockchain and not kind of showcase that and like allow artists to know that there are really sick artists that are dropping here. So that's the alpha that you'll get, right? If you could read between the lines, we're coming hard, and yeah,
you just dropped quite a bit, man.
Unbelievable, dude.
I gotta give you another outlet.
And we're not done. That's the thing, man. We have so much stuff that we're dropping, like it's just like it just kind of flows through us. So yeah, we're going hard.
I think there was a question
in the chat too. I wanted to point to that.
Yeah, go ahead, Jimmy. Go ahead.
No. If you had something, you go for it.
No, I was going to talk about the question in the chat. You said
you were.
So yeah,
Jinx.
Literally, that's what I was going to say.
So I'm actually going to put this on screen, producer John, just as an FYI, because I know he likes to make things look clean. But we do have a question. It says the Geo NFT concept is nice. I like the data, but will Geo NFTs we collect have a uses purpose related to something in game or in real life? Secondly, what do you think about doing competitions such as having 10 Nike Air, 5 iPhone 4, and 100 Geo NFTs to be collected? All right, cool. Yeah. And that's from Wamidi. Thanks for the question.
So to the first question, right? We're just a platform, right? So we've partnered with a number of different projects, and those projects communicate kind of the utility and value that they want, right? So if that little bit of alpha that I gave you around kind of really high-end Ethereum artists, right? These are people who are selling their work for 5 ETH, right, or 1 ETH, or even a half ETH, right, whatever that may be. Their utility is them as an artist. Whereas, what we're going to be launching with StepN, that'll be like a game or something and that kind of answers the second question. But, those types of utilities are a little different. We have so much flexibility, and Chris, we've done so much with the application. Chris didn't even get to talk too deeply about our badges and achievements, where we have flexibility and utility within our platform to support games, right? Where if people want to have achievements, or right, if they collect 5 NFTs at these locations, then they can claim this special in-app NFT that they can use for their game. Chicken is actually going to be a really good example for this. Maybe that's a little bit too much alpha, right? When they drop, but you'll be able to go and mint different assets, and maybe some of those assets can be used inside the chicken game, right? The chicken farm, I should say.
Sick.
So those are the answer is yes to both, right? It's a function of biz dev. So what we've had to do in this bear market is to sit down and rethink, and it's what our advisors were telling us, right? It was going to be our biggest challenge. We have to biz dev. We have to find interesting projects, interesting people, interesting concepts and ideas that can deploy cool shit on Lost Worlds, right? We don't necessarily want to be the creators and the manufacturer and the foundation, right? We can, but I think it's better when we have a diverse diverse mix of projects, games, artists, events on the application to kind of give things life.
So
really well said.
There's a lot to unpack there. The one thing I'm just going to add is Lost USDC pair is now live on Dexalot, right? They were live in the pre-subnet Dexalot as well. The alpha Dexalot is what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
And Lost USDC pair is now live in the subnet. Tell us a little bit about how we would use the token on your platform as well. Like talk a little bit about utility, because this is a very classic question. As Dexalot, we get a million questions about what is the utility of your token. If you can give us a little bit on that as well.
I can do it. Chris, do you want to do it? But I can do it if you don't. If you're like,
no, I'm happy to. Yeah, I think we've been thinking a lot about this, and there's a lot more coming. But in the interim, basically, the way that we're going about it is we now support Lost mints. So you can mint on our platform using our native token, which is great and is an obvious one. Some of the less obvious ones that we've sort of come up with is basically anytime on any chain, a token is used to, obviously the native gas token is used to mint an NFT. We take a certain set of fees, and then under the hood, what we're doing is either bridging those tokens, or if it's on Avalanche, keeping it, and we're buying off of a DEX like Dexalot and creating buy pressure, and then we're black holing those tokens. So not only are we creating
buy pressure, but you're also burning. So it's like a double whammy.
Exactly, and it's not exclusive to any chain. So the idea that here's like a little bit of alpha without giving out too much alpha is like the idea that there'll be people selling things on our platform for 1 ETH at NFT NYC who are really big artists, right? Like there's a level of fees that will be generated from those drops that will directly impact the Lost token, both in also, and there's a lot more to talk about here, but even in the short term, just using those fees to buy off the DEX and then black holing them. We're also, anytime we emit the token, we're black holing an equal amount. So a lot of our quests, for example, that pay out tokens, anytime somebody completes that quest, so like loyalty to the product, to the platform usage, we're black holing an equal amount. We'll have our Launchpad creator like platform where people who launch their own projects will pay in Lost to launch those projects. That Lost all gets black holed as well. Anytime a mint that is in Lost directly gets used, that goes directly to the black hole, and then we actually pay out the creator, assuming it's not us, with an emission. So there's lots of token movement happening, irregardless of which chain it's on. And yeah, I think that touches on most of it. But Q, if you want to add anything, feel free.
Yeah, for sure. I think the simplest way of looking at it is, right, we're just making sure that the Lost token is deflationary as we increase usage of the Lost token, right? So right now, we just introduced Mint in Lost, right, where you actually use the Lost token on our platform, right? That was step one. We have a number of different utilities and in-game mechanisms, right? Chris just hinted at one. When people are able to drop their own Geo NFT, they'll have to use the Lost token. You got one thing we were teasing out, and it's on our roadmap, it's public, is bounties, where users can mint, like Jimmy, wherever you are, right? You can go mint something on my behalf, right? And I pay you out in Lost, and then there's a fee that gets associated with that, right? There's this concept of teleportation, which is something we were thinking about for a while. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with Pokemon Go and the raid pass and like how everybody's up in arms about that. So it's just like, it actually becomes fun to break the app, but what if you have to pay to break the app, right? You have to pay in loss to break the app. So we're going to create a bunch of new different mechanisms that utilize the actual loss token in order. If you look at our original tokenomic structure, you notice that 50% of our total supply was actually going to be distributed or emitted in some way, shape, or form. So you now know that in some way, shape, or form, at least 50% of that supply is probably going away in some way, shape, or form. So you want to think about that in terms of the value of that for traders, but also in terms of what that's doing to, as we increase the usage of lost tokens. We just introduced one bit, but now we're going to add another bit, and then we're going to add another bit, and that's as we add new projects and new partnerships and new all sorts of things. So it's like one of those things. It's just like, you know, if you haven't gotten it, it might be time to get lost, right? So that's kind of our movement and idea there. Yeah, and we're just working really hard behind the scenes.
Yeah, we always say this. We always say this. Rome is not built overnight. And
So
you
true.
guys have built quite a lot, right? It's been roughly a year since the initial launch. And B2 is already here. It's, you know, we only have a few days before the big announcement. NFT NYC is right around the corner, and we're excited for you guys, man. We're rooting for you guys to, you know, bring the Avalanche flag and bring the Lost Worlds flag to every NFT community out there. Awesome.
For sure. I just want to touch on a project right now that's actually active within the engagement and usage of lost tokens, right? So we have a project called Portals Community. It's actually the precursor to the one that our community really is waiting for, which is Portals NFT. So the concept behind it is there's these famous landmarks all over the world. What if you go to them, imagine if they had different alternate end realities. Like what happened if the Empire State Building was kind of taken over by a tsunami, or it looked like I Am Legend and there's stuff over there, or an alien invasion and whatever that may be.
Zeppelins in New York City.
Exactly, right? Or the Louvre. What if the Egyptians kind of took over the Louvre, right? Because you know, they have all of the ancient Egyptian things of that nature, right? So we have these drops, and these are native projects to the Lost Worlds ecosystem. But Portals Community is 7 drops. They're Mount Fuji in Japan, the Colosseum in Rome, the Parthenon in Greece. There's a mosque in Morocco, Big Ben in England, and the like. And if in Sydney, Australia, that opera house that's there. If you go and you're in those locations and you mint those locations, those are mint in lost projects. What we're doing is we're burning up to 2x the loss that you took to mint it. So that means you spend 100 loss to mint it, and then we're ending up burning, you know, 200 loss behind that, right? So by using the platform, you are actually benefiting the loss token. And yeah, so everybody wins: traders, minters, and collectors.
I think we didn't clarify this aspect. So I think earlier Chris mentioned that you have direct on-ramps, right? And you have the capability to allow people to mint without having to own crypto prior. That's number one.
Correct.
And then you also have the ability to mint with Lost. Like, how do the two options compare with each other? Do you mind just walking us through that as well?
Yeah, good question. Good question. So in essence, what we're doing is you can mint in whatever you want to mint in. What we're doing is we're setting up a listener that says, hey, this person bought this with $100 USD or $100 worth of AVAX, $100 worth of ETH. What we're doing is saying, like, okay, what's the equivalent amount of lost that we need to burn? And then also, just in the interim, probably just in the beginning, if you bought it in ETH, we'll take that ETH and bridge it over to Avalanche, take that ETH and purchase loss for that pressure, for the fees, I should say, right? And then for the total mint, we have a listener to say, okay, what was the equivalent amount of that total, right? ETH cost, it was $100 worth of ETH. Okay, release that same amount from the emissions platform for loss, and then lock it up forever. you know.
Perfect.
So
And
it's just
and I could mint directly with Lost also, right? Instead of those other cryptos.
some projects, right? So with Mint and Lost, there's only special projects that are there until we kind of figure that out, because remember, we haven't gone cross chain with the
Of course,
Lost
yeah.
token
This is
as of yet.
exactly
even
this
though we are
is
cross
why I
chain.
was asking.
Yeah. So and then most of what we do to incentivize minting with Lost off those projects is we do the burn multiplier, right, or the vault multiplier, because we technically can't burn, right? We have to lock it up, but we lock it up for like 10,000 years, right? So when none of us will be around unless we get the Neuralink.
I think that will happen pretty soon. AI is trying to break out, as we all know.
I got mine for my birthday this year, so it's you know, I'm having some problems so far. My arm keeps doing this weird thing, but we're gonna work on it.
Amazing, you know, guys.
The tweets all talked about you guys dropping, you know, some alpha on the show. I'd have to say you've exceeded all prior expectations for that. Nice. So
we appreciate it.
Awesome. Yeah. But before we let you guys go, I just got to ask again, can we make it 3 times the charm here and have you guys come back to the show?
Anytime you guys want us, you know, that's we're here. I know in terms of us just launching on the USDC pair, right? Definitely want to be able to help our users understand kind of how to do that, what they need to do, and then also to let them know is like, hey, there's some extra rewards in there for them.
Exactly what I was about to add. Right now, you know, most people who watch us are familiar with Dexalot Incentive Program. Dexalot Incentive Program is generic, and the Lost Worlds team is actually enabling it for the Lost Worlds token, so Lost USDC. And then, of course, as a believer in the Lost Worlds project, as a partner to them, we are also adding some rewards in there. So it is one of those pairs, actually. It's the only pair right now on the platform that is double rewarded. So you're going to earn some Lost tokens as well as some Alot tokens by participating in the liquidity provisioning or the trading of it. So I just want to make sure everybody's aware of that as well. Our tweet went live earlier this morning, I believe.
Yeah, and we're going to have more comprehensive info out there for you guys too. We're going to be breaking it all down. There's going to be threads. There's going to be Medium articles. We got your back. So you know how we do it, guys. We like to keep it thorough and, you know, make sure you have all the information. But my second question before you guys go, and thank you for bringing that up, guys, because that's huge. Need to get a song request from you guys, both you guys. I'm gonna be playing music. I think last time you were here, you requested something from Griselda. And I didn't want to get in trouble, so I didn't play any Griselda because it got too many bad swears in there. And
my life hasn't changed that much.
But I went to college outside Buffalo, so like
okay, so
when those guys got on the map, I was like, Buffalo, New York is on the map for hip hop. This is great.
Yeah.
So
my life hasn't changed that much because all I'm listening to is Stove God Cooks right now, and if anybody knows who that is, they're like they know what I'm listening to. But I am knows. And then that's funny. And then and I'm also listening to a lot of Afro House, man. Da Capo, Black Coffee, Shimza. Like these are the guys those aren't like words.
No.
Oh, actually, here. I know who I want.
Oh, he's got one. He's got one, guys.
Where are you gonna pull it up from? Because I'm not even sure.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna see what you gonna see what you request. I'm gonna see if I have it.
Yeah, check if you might not have it because this just dropped. His name is Kenza, Kenza.
And I guarantee I don't have it, but we're gonna get it.
Yeah, we're gonna get it. Kenza, all mine.
Kenza, all mine. Producer John, please, producer John on the track. Please get Kenza, all mine for me.
That way we could really kind of get it going.
Let's go. I love it, man.
Chris is probably gonna hit you with something obscure as well too. Like, cause our team has like Chris is probably gonna hit you with something obscure as well because we all have like interesting musical tastes and like his whole family is musical. So
I love it.
I kind of want to stay in this lane though. I'm curious to. I want to listen to this song and then maybe I can play off of that for my recommendation.
Wait, sorry, what was it?
He wants to play off my recommendation because he wants to one up me. He has to make sure
look at you
it's to
guys.
the next level.
No, that's not even that. It's just staying in the same lane. I don't know if we're ready to,
No, I get it.
I don't think we're ready to hop to French pop if we're going after
French
beats.
pop? Oh, I don't even know what that means.
Wow.
Sounds provocative.
Well, maybe we should stay in that lane then. All right.
I'm ready.
Wait, so do I how does this work? Do I recommend my
just
phone?
give me a
They're looking,
request.
they're looking for
I'll,
my song.
we'll-
You gotta drop yours. Yeah.
We'll curate a playlist for you. Basically, the way we take the show out is I play our guests' requests at the end.
Well, I'm into it.
Yeah. So I'll mix you guys requests together if they're in the same BPM range. But if they're not, we'll still get creative with it. I'm a professional.
Well, you could. Okay, I'm into "Lose My Cool" Amber Mark Frank Moody remix.
Lose My Cool. Who is it?
Her name's Amber Mark, but it's a Frank Moody remix. So keep the BPMs where they need to be.
Okay. Producer John, can we procure that?
Technical requests. Guys, I think you missed the game though. The goal is to try and stomp Jimmy here, right?
We all
give him hard stuff. You give him stuff
though.
that's irrelevant. But I mean, Chris just said he arranged the BPM so that it's in the right.
Yeah. He means stump me in terms of like mixing and like doing.
Yeah, make it difficult, guys. I've been trying a long time. I gave up by now.
No, this might be it because Chris has never heard the song that I'm talking about, or I don't think he has. So like, it could be a thing.
Last time you guys had good requests, so I trust your request. I mean, we've had nothing but good requests on here, man. It's always fun when we have guest requests. But Avalanche Intern says drop some Mongolian throat singing in between to up the difficulty.
I love it.
I love that song.
Just like
So
I love those YouTube videos, man. Some of those songs are really good. Throat singing is a real thing, for real.
Do you know what
I'm loving the comment section.
Yeah, the comment section is fire. I like the I don't know what it is. I think these are like Dagestanis, like true Eastern Europeans, and it's like a Muslim dance, and there's a bunch of men, and they're just going in a circle like this, and singing, and it's just like this crazy melodic, like bassful, like you feel like you want to go to war. It's almost like a haka a bit.
Yeah.
If I don't know what their name is, but it's like that. I could listen to that all day.
All right. That's what's up, man. Well, you guys, this has been awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming through the show again, and dropping like a metric ton of alpha for everybody chat. Hope you guys were taking notes. We're going to clip some good stuff from this. So, but yeah, we'll definitely have you guys on again. Can't wait to do it again. And remember, Lost USDC is live. And Quaison, founder and CEO of Lost Worlds, Chris, head of product development. Thank you guys so much for being on the show, and we can't wait to do it again.
Go get lost, everybody.
Get lost, y'all.
See you guys next time. Get lost, my friends.
I want to hear this next. That's all I know.
That's the real alpha.
Right?
That's the real alpha.
No pressure. Thank you guys again for being here. We'll see you next time.
Peace.